And you have a group of psychopaths that are just willing to, do everything for each other. It's great literature. Hey guys, what's up? It's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. And yeah. So I am in a pretty big life slump right now, aka depression. Yeah, fall is just not vibing the way that it's supposed to be vibing. I have not been in the mood to film anything, take pictures for my bookstagram, I'm just not in the mood to do anything. I have not filmed any vlogs. I have not filmed any videos. I had a whole list of things I was excited for this month. And then, like I said, I'm in a life slump. I'm depressed. And I am in a big slump, but I'm still enjoying my reading. However, the only books that I am enjoying right now is dark romance. And I have said before on this channel that dark romance really is where I vibe best. And I have learned over the years as a romance reader that my tastes have definitely formed. I look back to when I first started reading this genre. I was kind of all over the place. I was trying little bits of everything, but dark romance was where I had started. Punk 57 was the first contemporary romance I had ever read, and it really just stuck with me. And so over the years, I still like some light and fluffy stuff, but dark is it's where I get sucked in. When I'm in a really big slump, usually the things that help get me out of a slump, or even, just if I'm depressed in general and I need good escapism, the best kind of escapism is dark romance. So for this video, I decided to give you all of my absolute favorite dark romances, whether they are standalones or series. These are just the books that I absolutely love. They help me when I'm in a slump. They help me get out of a slump, or just if I'm really depressed and I don't want to think about life, it's the perfect escapism. So without further ado, here are those books. Okay, so the first series I want to talk about is literally what I just finished. This has kind of been consuming me for the month of October, and it is the Ecstasy series by KV Rose. So I did read Ecstasy in July, and after Ecstasy is the Ominous Duet. You have book 1 and you have book 2, and this is technically a prequel. It takes place before the events of Ecstasy. And so for this duet, I ended up buddy reading it with a group of friends, and we had an absolute blast. We had some really deep discussions. We're still discussing it just because the end of book 2 just kind of leaves you. And there is a 4th book that's supposed to be coming out in late spring, but I love this series. I love it so much that I did buy the physical copies of Ominous book 1 and 2. I really did enjoy Ecstasy. I want to say I did. But these two, literal game changers. If you want mental health representation in a dark romance, look no further. KV has this writing style that gives you chills when you are in the character's POV, because you can see how they have a mental illness, but they don't realize it. For example, our female main character in the Ominous Duet is Eden, and it's really interesting through the book to see her journey of mental health. Probably talk about the story. A lot of intros with these books, you guys, just because I'm obsessed with all of them, but this is supposed to help get you out of a slump, so whatever. All right, so Ecstasy is book 1, and you do not have to read this if you want to dive into Ominous, because like I told you, Ominous is a prequel, but I think you should, just because this is how KV wrote it, and it is how it is intended. So Ecstasy is a love triangle. You have Zara, Alex, and Eli, and Eli is a psychopath, okay? And so in Ominous book 1 and 2, you have Eli and his romance with Eden. They are in high school, they are seniors, they are at a really prestigious private school, and he is quite literally a psychopath. And Eden has quite mental health issues herself, and it is just such a trip going through both of these books. They both have a lot of issues. It's revealed in like the first chapter of book 1, so this is not a spoiler, but Eden has like this fantasy of someone killing her while they're having sex. And so that's just the start to the book. And it is such a ride, and I will tell you, book 2 is gonna really leave you thinking and staring at a wall, and yeah. But that is the Ecstasy series by KB Rose, and it is absolutely incredible. Next up, we have the Hockey God series by S. Mastery. So I only own Brutal Obsession, so I'm just gonna post all 4 books here. I absolutely love the series. I know I talk about it in a lot of vlogs and wrap-ups, but if you want dark romance and you want a hockey romance, this is great. So these guys are literal psychopaths. They are obsessed, and they are willing to cross any line to get their girls. This series has a lot of dub-con, non-con, so if you do not like that, I definitely would not read this series. I will say books 3 and 4 get a little darker than 1 and 2, but these are just a great time. And like I said, if you want a wild ride escapism, this is a great series. Book 1, Brutal Obsession, you have Grayson and Violet is a ballerina, and Grayson kind of breaks Violet's leg in the prologue and threatens her with this information. It's a whole wild ride, trust me. So yeah, he's blackmailing her in book 1. And then book 2, you have Steele and Aspen, and that is a stepbrother, stepsister kind of revenge romance. And then book 3, you have Miles and Willow, and it is a stalker revenge obsession because she dated his brother first, and now he's mad at her for it. Trust me, that one takes a wild ride. And then Twisted Obsession, the 4th installment that just recently came out. This one is my absolute favorite one. This is a reverse age gap, and she was his ex-professor. And I absolutely loved this one. This one did jump into the NHL instead of back in college, and I actually liked that. But this series also is great found family. They're all psychopaths, but they all back each other up. It's great. So, like I said, if you want good escapism, this one is great. All right, and then Credence. Listen, you're either going to absolutely love Credence or you're absolutely going to hate it, and that is absolutely okay. I'm one of the people that love it. I would say that this book is definitely one of my Roman empires. I think about it daily. I love who she picked at the end. I just love the entire book. And so a lot of people hate it. And like I said, that is okay. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. But this is what is it? It's not a reverse harem. It's, she's fucking around with 3 guys before she picks one. Okay, that's basically what it is. I'm seriously helping the people that talk shit about this book, but whatever. All right, so we have Tiernan, 18-year-old Tiernan, and her parents have unalived themselves because, yeah, one of them had cancer and they just had to be with each other, okay? So she gets an offer to go move to the mountains with her step-uncle Jake that she's never met because her dad and him hated each other, okay? So she moves in there, and Jake has 2 sons, Noah and Caleb, and yeah, Tiernan just has a really good time in the mountains, snowed in with these 3 guys, and like I said, she does choose one, but I love this book. I love it for what it's worth. But like I said, this is a dark romance, depression, escapism video, and I absolutely think this book is perfect for that. Okay, then Untouchable by Sam Mariano. I know I've talked about this in a few recent videos, but this is another one that is a Roman Empire to me. I think about it daily. The group of girls that I buddy read Ominous with, we're actually going to buddy reread Untouchable together. And I just really, really like this book. It is so unhinged. It is so toxic, but it is just the escapism in a depressive state that you need. So it is a high school romance, but I will say, don't let that scare you away, okay? This is a special kind of book, and it gets away with it. So you have Carter and Zoe, and prior to the story starting, Zoe is being bullied by a group of football players because one of them was a little handsy to her on a date, and she reported it, and it got the guy kicked off the football team. And since they live in Texas, she is now ostracized by practically the entire town because of this. So in the first chapter, a group of guys ends up cornering her because everybody else is in class, and they start to threaten her. And Carter ends up getting kind of turned on by her fear, and he's not the one that she reported. He's just one of his buddies. And so while she's getting scared of the guy that's threatening her, like I said, he's getting turned on. And so he asks the other guys to leave the room. And then kind of that's where their journey starts. I will say, like, the first chapter of this book is either going to suck you in or it's going to, like, make you go to Goodreads and trash the author. But like I said, this is this is another story like Credence where you are either going to love it for what it is or you're going to hate it. And I loved it. This does have big time dubcon, non-con. So if you do not like that, you're not going to want to read this. But for a dark romance, depression, escapism, I can't stop saying that enough. This is a perfect story for that. Carter is willing to do whatever it takes to keep Zoe. And I mean that. Like, literally the next day after he threatens her and things, she stays home sick from school, and he shows up at her house with soup and tells her parents that he's her boyfriend. It's just a great story. Then the Royal Elite series by Rena Kent. I finished this up last month, but I had started it about a year and a half ago. And this is another great dark romance series that has great found family. You have a group of friends. They are all rich. They're all British. They're all psychos and selfish. And yeah, I will say these books have a lot of twists and turns, so it's really hard to describe each one in detail. But I will say that the first 3 books covers one couple. It's a trilogy that ends in a cliffhanger. I will say Aiden and Elsa have quite a wild ride, but they are a bully romance. Basically, they have this whole past where Aiden remembers things about her and hates her, and she can't remember any of it. Then after that, you have Xander and Kim. They were actually my favorite couple, and what I liked about this story was that Kim was plus size, so it just added something different. They were former childhood friends, and then Xander had found out some information about Kim that caused them to not be able to be together, and so he had to be a bully to push her away. And then after that, you have, I think it was it Roman and Teal? And this was a really great one because both of these characters were very fucked up. They had very traumatic pasts as children where they were both inappropriately touched and things like that. And so it's very interesting to see the twist of how they are connected. And then the last couple, you have Cole and Silver. And this one was kind of a mystery because you had a third POV called the Doll Master, and it's this person that's been stalking Silver her whole life. And when you find out, man, that was a twist. But this one is a stepbrother-stepsister relationship, and I really liked it. But like I said, this is another great one where if you want found family, look no further. And I will say that found family for me, when I'm in a depressive state, that's the most comforting. I don't know why. When you have a group of psychopaths that are just willing to, you know, do everything for each other, it's great literature. And then I'm only going to talk about one more series because I know I have rambled on for a lot in this video. But we have the Tattered Curtain series by Grey Rivers. I only have Phantom on my shelf, so once again, I'm just going to put all the books here. So this is a finished trilogy. You have Phantom, Rouge, and Dreadful. And these are all stage retellings, and it's kind of a combination of several things pulled in together, and they are all great. I will say Phantom is still my favorite. It is a Phantom of the Opera retelling. It is set in modern day New Orleans at a musical academy, and the Phantom is like the head of the New Orleans mafia, and he lives underground because he's scarred. It's great. I need to reread it still. And then the second one, Rouge, that is set in Las Vegas, and you have the Irish mafia, and this is a forced marriage. In the first chapter, our male main character, he kidnaps our female main character when she's drunk at her bachelorette party because she's supposed to marry another mafia lead. Well, he kidnaps her and marries her, and yeah, it goes from there. This one was also a good time. And then the third one, Dreadful, it just came out. This is a Sweeney Todd Medusa type of retelling, and this one was really good. I think my ranking would be Phantom, Dreadful, and then Rouge. But Dreadful, both of our characters are connected from their childhood. They both have this really bad past. I don't want to talk about it because it would be spoilery, but basically it affects them so much as kids that they promise themselves they're both going to go on these separate revenge plots. And they both do it, where to a point it causes them to meet up in the future. But I loved our female main character. What a literal badass. Like, everything that happened to her as a child, she promised she was going to take all those guys down. She had a list. And the way she did it, it was just very Sweeney Todd-esque. And she was the Medusa of the story. Like, it was great. So, like I said, this is a great series for escapism. Also great for this time of year. I just love it. All right, well, thank you so much for sitting here with me while I forgot how to talk on camera. Those are all of my favorite dark romances that I just really can't stop thinking about all the time. I know I could have included more, like Devil's Night, but I talk about that all the time, and I feel like enough people have read it that I just don't need to promote it, whereas a lot of these other ones, they're not really talked about a whole lot in the book community compared to others, and I just want to get them out there. Like the Ecstasy series, people, go read it. It really makes you think. I cannot stop thinking about that series, seriously. Anyways, as always, don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you guys next time. Bye.